Another race hoax takes center stage, this time in the WNBA. This story has had many twists and turns over the past week, so we're going to walk you through how it all unraveled in spectacular fashion. And Caitlin Clark's team, the Indiana Fever, faced off against the Chicago Sky, home to player Angel Reese. Against Reese. In other words, Caitlin committed the foul. After slapping her arm, Reese fell to the ground momentarily before jumping up to follow Clark across the court, angry at the foul.
Imagine a basketball game where the real drama unfolds not on the court, but in the stands, then explodes across social media, drawing in an entire league investigation. This isn't just about fouls and free throws. It's a modern sports saga, revealing how quickly a story can take hold, twist, and transform. We're diving deep into the WNBA's biggest recent controversy, centered around stars Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, a story that started with a simple game, but spiraled into a national debate about racism, media integrity, and selective outrage. What truly happened? And more importantly, what does it tell us about the narratives shaping our world today? It all kicked off during a highly anticipated WNBA season opener between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. On one side, Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation everyone's been buzzing about. On the other, Angel Reese, a fierce competitor and one of the league's most talked about new stars. Both known for their physical play and fiery personalities, fans were primed for fireworks. And they got them. Things heated up in the first half, when Reese went up for a rebound and Clark caught her lead arm, sending Reese to the ground. Officials saw it clearly, immediately calling a flagrant foul on Clark. It was a physical play, a common occurrence in high-intensity basketball, and after a brief tense moment, both players seemed to downplay it in post-game interviews. Clark called it just a basketball play, while Reese echoed that sentiment, saying, "That's the game. We're competitors." The general feeling was, hey, it happens. My mind is focused on making these two free throws. That's all I'm thinking about. It's just part of basketball. It is what it is. But this is where the story takes a sharp turn, because what happened after the press conference completely changed the narrative. Suddenly, reports emerged that the WNBA was launching a full-blown investigation into alleged racist abuse directed at Angel Reese by Fever fans during the game. The league even put out a strong statement. The WNBA strongly condemns racism and all forms of hate and discrimination. They have no place in our league or in our society. We are aware of the allegations and are looking into the matter. What started as a normal game was now the center of a league-wide controversy. Then, Angel Reese herself seemed to shift her perspective. She posted a TikTok video, which has since been taken down, showing Clark walking away after the foul with the caption, "White gal running from the fade." This went viral instantly, sparking a massive online debate. Some saw it as playful, trash talk, others as unnecessary drama. But the real questions started to surface. Why would you post something like that when fans of the person you're targeting are already under investigation for racism? The post was eventually deleted, but the digital fire had already been lit. In the days that followed, Reese spoke to reporters about how she had been dealing with racist comments from the crowd, stating, "Obviously, there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA and our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone." She thanked the league and her team for their support and spoke about the exhausting pressure of playing under such circumstances. But here's the kicker. For days, as this story dominated headlines, there wasn't a single piece of concrete proof emerging. No videos, no audio recordings, nothing verifiable. Reporters started digging and found that neither Reese's coach nor her teammates had heard anything racist during the game. In fact, many of them expressed complete unawareness of any incident until the story broke online. The investigation itself was triggered by claims from anonymous social media users, not by anything reported directly to the team or league officials during the game. So, what exactly had happened? What was the evidence? One of the main points of online speculation centered around a moment in the fourth quarter when Reese was at the free throw line. Some social media users claimed they heard distinct monkey sounds coming from the crowd, interpreting them as racist. Videos of the incident circulated, and the background noise was undeniably strange, a sort of screeching followed by laughter. But when the WNBA launched its deep dive, reviewing extensive audio and video from the game, they concluded that the sounds were inconclusive. They were most likely just regular crowd noise or a common noisemaker, the kind often used at basketball, games to distract opposing players during free throws. Crucially, no evidence of racist intent was found.
My mind is, I need to make these 2 free throws. That's all I'm thinking about. It's just a part of basketball. It is what it is. Just trying to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah, it happens. And those free throws, when you have to shoot them with nobody at the line, are kind of hard. So it's a little different than having people at the line. So I was just trying to focus on making those.
The WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. They have no place in our league or in our society. We are aware of the allegations and are looking into the matter. Then, Reese had a change of heart. She posted a TikTok video, which included this screenshot. It shows Clark walking away from Reese after the foul with the message, "White gal running from the fade." It has since been taken down. Reese then spoke to reporters about how the alleged racism hurled her way was very hard to deal with during the game.
Obviously, there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA, my team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us in this.
What do you think the league's response, just coming out right away and getting that investigation going?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, they understand that this is the priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech. And obviously, the women in this league, they know that, and know there's no space for that.
So now we're at, it was hard to hear when it happened. What happened exactly? You were subjected to racism? What specifically? What happened? It was hard to hear. If it can happen to me, it can happen to, and did it happen to you? What exactly is your evidence that anything at all happened to you involving racism from the Fever fans?
Yet, despite the lack of direct evidence, the debate raged on. The story completely hijacked the WNBA conversation, pulling focus from the actual game to what was happening in the stands. It felt like one social media post and a wave of speculation were all it took to spark a full-blown investigation and dominate headlines for days. And it wasn't just fans fueling the fire. The media and sports commentators jumped in almost immediately, their reactions only adding to the chaos. Right away, the spotlight shifted to how the media shaped this entire controversy. The second Reese's post started trending, major sports. Commentators seized on it, framing the story as a clear-cut case of racism. Monica McNutt from ESPN was one of the first and loudest voices, declaring on air, "The fact that the WNBA has to put out a statement because of racist comments and unsafe conditions toward Angel Reese, I just want people to be mindful. If this was the other way around, oh Lord, you can only imagine how the conversation would have gone." This wasn't just reporting, it was setting the tone, influencing how viewers were expected to see the situation before any facts had even emerged. Emmanuel Acho from Fox Sports and Chini Ogwumike from ESPN followed suit, echoing the same angle and treating the allegations as if they were already proven. The energy was palpable. It was as if everyone agreed this was a slam-dunk case of racism, even though at that point, the only evidence was a deleted TikTok and some heated social media posts. There was no pause, no caution, just a wave of certainty that swept through the sports world and straight into the headlines. Finally, after a painstaking 10-day investigation that involved interviewing fans, arena staff, and meticulously reviewing every angle of the broadcast, the WNBA released its official statement. The verdict? Based on information gathered to date, including from relevant fans, teams, and arena staff, as well as audio and video review of the game, we have not substantiated it. Nothing concrete supported the claims of racist abuse. So, after all that, it seemed the entire country had been worked up over absolutely nothing. But the story doesn't end there, because what happened next brought another layer of complexity to the discussion. After the WNBA's investigation concluded, Chini Ogwumike, one of the prominent ESPN commentators who had initially amplified the allegations, issued an apology. She stated that her comments came in the heat of the moment, and really came, from a place of care, based on first-hand conversations with people very close to the situation who raised real concerns. She added, I am committed to doing better in how I share perspectives and grow alongside the game that I truly love and adore. On the surface, it sounded like accountability. However, not everyone was buying it. Political commentator Megyn Kelly, among others, argued that Ogwumike's apology, posted quietly on social media, didn't match the volume or platform of her original claims. Kelly called for a real, public correction in the very same space where the allegations first took off. She pointed out the vast difference between saying, "I'll be better," and actually setting the record straight for the millions of fans who had heard the first unverified version. It highlighted a critical question. If a serious allegation is made on a major platform, shouldn't its retraction or lack of substantiation be equally prominent? Kelly argued, when you say something that is totally false on the air, you have to go out. And it needs to happen in the same forum in which you committed the sin, not on social media, which is the coward's way out. Kelly's frustration wasn't just about the immediate media response. She pointed out a bigger, more systemic problem. The perceived inconsistency in how the media treats different situations, especially when race is involved. She raised a compelling hypothetical. What if the roles were reversed? What if similar accusations had come from a white player instead of Reese? And then she presented a concrete example that left many questioning the double standards. Enter the Brittany Griner incident. In a viral clip from a different game, after making a foul play, Griner appears to mouth something rather controversial towards Caitlin Clark. While the exact words were disputed, some heard whack call, others a more inflammatory phrase like fucking white girl. The clip racked up millions of views online, sparking heated arguments across social media. But here's the twist. Despite the massive online attention and speculation, mainstream sports media barely touched it. There were no high-profile breakdowns, no league statements, and definitely no formal investigation. The incident was essentially ignored by those in a position to ask questions. Griner herself has never publicly commented on what she said. Now, stack that up against what happened with Angel Reese. One social media post from Reese, and suddenly the league was launching a full investigation. Commentators were weighing in. Headlines were everywhere, and the story dominated the conversation for days. For Griner, even with a viral video and a mountain of speculation, there was silence. Megyn Kelly jumped on this, calling it a glaring example of selective outrage. Reese's claims, which were never backed up with any real evidence, got instant attention from both the league and the press. Meanwhile, Griner's alleged comment, caught on camera, was seemingly swept under the rug. Kelly argued that this isn't just a small oversight. It's a pattern that reveals a deeper problem in how race-related issues are handled in sports. She highlighted the stark contrast. Why is it that the same people who heard these alleged racist comments from the crowd, none of which were substantiated, were not able to see with their eyes what Brittany Griner was mouthing? She pondered why Griner never addressed the incident directly, suggesting that perhaps she assumed the media wouldn't run with the story, allowing it to disappear on its own. If a white player had uttered a slur at a black athlete, Kelly asserted, the fallout would be immediate. Wall-to-wall coverage, league investigations, and swift punishment. But with Griner, the alleged anti-white slur didn't get the same treatment. This double standard, Kelly argued, doesn't just look bad. It makes it harder to have honest conversations about racism in sports. And it's not just about the media either. The WNBA's response, or lack thereof, only amplified the concerns. If the league thought Reese's claims were serious enough for a full-blown investigation, why didn't they even acknowledge the Griner clip? Kelly pointed out that this kind of inconsistency sends a clear message. Some forms of racism are taken seriously, while others are quietly ignored. That's a problem for everyone, not just the players involved. It chips away at trust in the league, the media, and the whole idea that sports can be a place for fairness and unity. The fallout from this perceived double standard is bigger than just one viral moment. When fans see one player's claims turned into a national conversation and another's ignored, it creates resentment and division. Supporters of Reese might feel like the league has their back, while Clark's fans are left wondering why their concerns don't matter. That gap only gets wider when the media and league pick and choose which stories to chase and which to let fade away. They're quick to run to the flames when it could be anti-black racism, but when it could be anti-white racism, there's often just crickets. Kelly wrapped up her argument by calling for equal treatment, no matter who's involved, no matter what the accusation is. She said, If you really want to address racism in sports, you can't play favorites. The only way forward is to hold everyone to the same standard and to ask the tough questions, even when it's uncomfortable. Otherwise, all you're doing is fueling more distrust and making it harder to fix the real problems. Why? She questioned. Do we need national investigations every time somebody might have said something inappropriate in the heat of the moment, especially when half the time it turns out to be invented in the first place? So, after weeks of headlines, investigations, and heated debates, what can we really take away from this WNBA controversy? It's a powerful reminder of how quickly unverified social media claims can ignite a firestorm, pulling focus from the actual sport. It highlights the immense influence of media in shaping narratives, sometimes even before all the facts are in. And perhaps most importantly, it raises crucial questions about consistency, how we approach serious allegations, who gets a spotlight, and who remains in the shadows. Ultimately, fans, athletes, and the league itself deserve a clear, consistent approach to justice and truth. Because when the focus shifts from the incredible talent on the court to manufactured drama off it, everyone loses. What do you think about how this controversy unfolded? Were the responses fair and balanced? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that go beyond the headlines. Let's get back to celebrating the plays and performances that truly matter, because Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are changing the game on the court, not just on social media.